question.
Well, boo. I'm Shelly Irwin. Of course, thank you for joining us tonight. On Ask, though, we are getting in the spirit with paranormal experts in studio. So, of course, call in with your questions. Those numbers will be at the bottom of your screen, although they may disappear halfway through. Who knows? Throughout the night, we'll be getting experts, of course, to talk to you. Rosemary Feld, thanks for being here. Feld, glad you're here, Rosemary. Josh Spur, you're all about the ghosts. Hang for us. Patti Ortel, a psychic medium. And David Christine, you are all about the radio, the fourth dimension. I thought there were only 3 dimensions, but I guess there's 4 in this world. Good morning, dude. Good day to you.
Good morning.
Yeah, it could be good morning. Let's talk about each of you, how you spend your day. You do represent the Michigan Ghost Society, so ghosts exist.
They do, absolutely 100% exist. We've had experiences in residentials, commercial buildings. Got tons of evidence, thousands of EVPs, pictures, video footage.
Is the Michigan Ghost Society a part of a national ghost society?
We are. Each state we have set up where they represent their state, but we, as a total, we represent the National Ghost Society, which is all 50 states, and also now overseas. We're in Scotland and Ireland also right now.
Rosemary, talk about you as a psychic medium.
Yep, I'm the psychic medium for Michigan Paranormal Alliance. We do residential and commercial properties. My job when we're out on investigations is to communicate with the entities that might be present.
I'm going to ask for an example shortly. David, how are you related with this good bunch?
I am not. I'm just related with Patti, who's our resident medium at Fourth Dimension Paranormal Investigations and Radio. We take a different approach to things, and we can talk about that a little later, such as not so much focusing on the actual resident commercial area, but getting into the actual spirit in itself and where they reside, and the science behind it. Truly string theory, M theory, fourth dimension, void of space and time, why they're here, and we take it to that level.
What's your expertise, Patti?
Well, actually, I've been a medium for 10 years now, and I also work at the Crown Jewel Spa and Salon. I do Reiki. I'm a Reiki master. I teach Reiki classes, and I just joined David's group last June and have gone on several investigations with him. It's a different side for me because I'm used to doing one-on-one readings with people, and now I'm looking at a different angle with actually kind of earthbound spirits versus spirits that have transitioned fully into the light, so to speak.
You know, I make light at my beginning, but you are all, this could be a serious topic. People hire you to investigate. Can you give me an example?
Well, actually, we just investigated a house in Sand Lake where the couple and their 10-year-old son were absolutely terrified. They had something in the house, and we went out to investigate, and we found actually several things that we had to deal with, and we realized that these earthbound spirits have emotion, and there was a female spirit that was in that house staying because the male homeowner had so much guilt around her murder. And so I like the story behind the investigation, and sometimes you have to go out 2, 3, 4 times to a site to really piece it all together. But I find it very fascinating, and we take it extremely seriously. We are not hobbyists.
Right. Let's talk about the ghost. I mean, the Casper, the friendly ghost, is the stereotype. But what is a ghost?
A ghost, I guess my definition of a ghost, it would be a spirit that's caught somewhere in our world yet.
Is it a spirit from a human?
It could be a human. It could not be a human. Almost all our cases that we have had seem to have been of human form, or a human at one time. They all had some kind of story behind them. We do sometimes get residual hauntings, which is just basically like a section of a tape recorder going over and over and over. So you can't communicate with those. They don't even know you're there. But as far as the ghost goes, we have had instances where We had seen apparitions, but they do not look like Casper. Most of the time it's either like a dark mass that we have seen, like a solid black mass, or more of like a shadow form of a spirit.
Are spirits good or bad?
They can be both. Most of the time that we have experienced, I'd say 99% of the time they're great. Sometimes they get mad at you, but so do people. I mean, I look at it as, hey, you know, it could be your neighbor, you know. So maybe your neighbor's having a bad day and he doesn't want to talk to you as much. So he might say, hey, you need to go away now. So.
I'll never look at my neighbor the same. Rosemary, a medium, psychic medium. I'm seeing the fortune teller, but I'm incorrect in that stereotype.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a fortune teller. My title is psychic medium. The psychic part just means that I can pick up impressions about ongoings in people's lives when I do one-on-one readings for people. And the mediumship means that I can communicate with relatives of people that have passed over, or entities that are in a location.
And how is that done? I mean, what the naysayer, how can you communicate with my grandmother?
Well, you know, it's entirely up to your grandmother if she chooses to come through or not. You know, they're not trick and pony, so I can't say, oh, hey, your grandmother's here, that kind of thing. It really depends from the spirit world, you know, who wants to come through. And spirit meaning somebody that has passed and they've crossed over, home, heaven, different than a ghost. A ghost is an earthbound. They have not crossed over. So usually our spirit family, they know who we need and what we need to discuss. So it's entirely up to them.
Yes. We have a caller on the line. Hi, caller. What's your question, please? Hi, is the caller there?
Hello, sorry. Hey, I was wondering, I have a question for the psychics. If this is a gift they were born with, or is it something that they learned over time, or how did you know that you had this ability?
Sure, start with you, please, Patty.
Well, I have been clairvoyant since I was 5 years old. That's when I have my first memory of seeing and feeling things from the spirit realm. But I truly believe that anyone can tap into this. We all have the gift of intuition. Now, how far you want to take that, if you have a passion for this work, then you will be successful at it, because all you do is you're tapping into what I call your psychic senses. You know, you're seeing and you're hearing. I can hear out of my left ear. I can hear out of the outside of my ear and the inside. Then I will also feel things in my body, and it's just a matter of practicing. The psychics that I've talked to, most all of them tell me that they've had experience since they were 5 or 6 years old. I'm sure you've had the same thing.
I was born this way. Absolutely.
David, you want to talk a little bit about an investigation or an example?
Well, typically what we do is, I am not sensitive at all, so I can walk right into a brick wall and not feel it.
Okay.
But what I do know is this, and that's through our investigations, we're focused more on the spirit element in the self and the science side of it. If you were to take my hand and view it as a table, as a two-dimensional object, and take a third-dimensional like us and cross through it, and it happens all the time, the people in two-dimensional land would just see a cross-section of the third dimension, which would be us. So they would describe to each other in the two-dimensional world, I saw this flat object come and then it went away. Where'd it come from? I don't know, because they don't know up and down. And that's the penalty for us being in the third dimension, is because it seems to be that the fourth dimension is in a time-space continuum where time does not matter. We've asked the questions, it doesn't matter where they're at. And it seems that why do some earthbound spirits hang and other ones just pass on into a wonderful place? Well, the answers we're getting is that the residual that you spoke about could be a light beacon for them to come and resolve something. Everything is emotion. You yourself, Shelly, can remember emotion, what I call them significant social emotional events, SSEs. And these typically are big, huge things in your life. Are they big enough to make you hang around after you pass to come back and resolve? And when we all pass, has everything been resolved, and has the moment of absolute certainty finally arrived when we pass? Maybe not. And these are things in order for us to continue moving toward I believe, the perfection of God, if that's his plan, is that fundamentally we need to resolve certain things but learn from them along the way. How this works, I don't know, but all I can tell you is the answers we're getting from all the equipment we get suggests that highly.
Let's talk about the haunted house.
A haunted house. I guess that is a term that probably comes in. People say, you know, my house is haunted, and we go in there and try to find the answers why.
So you may get a call and say, I need an investigation into my house because I hear noises. Or,
Absolutely.
Yeah, take
absolutely.
me through that.
When we get a call for a residential, it's
And
happened
you
where
get
we have calls. We have had calls for commercial places also, for, you know, people working there say, hey, I've seen something, I work here, I don't know what's going on. And we had a case, I think it was about a year ago, we had went to that they actually work in this building, they clean it. It was one of the cleaning ladies, and she swears up and down that she can hear footsteps, she's heard something like yell out to her. And so we had went there and we actually conducted 3 different investigations there. And we have a psychic on our team also. And we had brought him in there and we try to collect our evidence. We're more hard evidence, and we kind of put what he takes in there and add it to our hard evidence. So, you know, we have several different, I know you were talking about that earlier, we try to have at least, you know, 3-4 different kinds of evidence that we can support what we have with. And what happened in that particular...
Are you taking pictures?
We do pictures, we
Recordings?
do audio recordings, we have DVRs with...
You do this in
usually do
the
about,
dark of night?
We do day and night. We have full spectrum cameras that we shoot day and night with. We shoot IR at night, and then we shoot regular cameras during the daytime also. We have multiple different kind of meters that we use, temperature meters, EMF meters.
It's not a cheap
It's
profession.
not cheap. It is not cheap.
Yeah. Going to take a quick break, show you what's coming up next week. Right now, Ask the Paranormal Expert. Yep, tune in, of course, the day before the Halloween, and of course, or the week before the Halloween. Next week, we're talking community connections, so I look forward to that as well. We have a caller on the line. Hi, caller, are you there?
Yes. I have a question.
Yes, what's your question?
I want to know if any of the people on the panel were religious, and if they believed in the Holy Bible, and what the Bible says about sorcery and divination, that you shouldn't dabble in it. That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who wants to start with that question, please? You want to take that?
Absolutely. I definitely consider myself a Christian. I have faith in Jesus Christ. I have faith in God. I don't believe what I do is evil or the devil's work by any means. Our group is all about empowering people that are having experiences in their home that need answers. You know, as far as reading the Bible, personally, no, I don't. Personally, I believe the Bible was written by man, his interpretation.
Sure.
But, you know, they talk about the Holy Spirit or these men that were getting the information that wrote the Bible. You know, it's from Spirit.
You haven't
again.
killed anyone, right?
No, absolutely
There we go.
not.
And breaking any commandments?
No, absolutely
I
not.
agree
Yeah.
100%. And actually, we say a prayer before we start
As we
a
do.
group.
Yes.
And, you know, I was raised Catholic, and it was very,
Ditto.
very hard for me because I had to keep it all hidden. My father was born in Italy, very strict Catholic, and we would go to church every Sunday and read the Bible and all of that, but I had to hide everything that I saw. I did tell my mom, and she just kept saying I had an active imagination. And really, as a young child, you don't know what to do with this. And I pretty much stuffed it in the closet for a long time until my children, I recognized this when they were very young, 3 years old. And so I decided I'm going to foster this in them. And then I continued to develop my skills and take training.
What does it mean when you say you do readings? Now I'm back to thinking
Okay.
about the fortune teller.
Personally, when I do a reading for somebody, one-on-one reading, I communicate with somebody's relative that has passed over, perhaps their spirit guides, and I get psychic impressions about things that are going on in their life, maybe tidbits of things that might happen. I can offer them guidance from the spirit world, if you will. And that's what my readings are about. A lot of times people come and they're very upset about the loss of somebody in their life. Sometimes they just need a little guidance, and you know, they need somebody to educate them that, you know, when we lose somebody, you know, spiritually they don't die. We just transition to our energy, our true way of being. And you know, my mission is to provide people comfort and give the best answers that I can.
You know, it was Albert Einstein that actually said, you know, energy is neither destroyed or created or destroyed. So your energy is always somewhere. Everything.
That's the God particle.
Right, that spark.
We could get really deep here, couldn't we?
Yeah.
I have a tendency to do that, but in answer to that caller really quick, I'm a commercial pilot by trade, and I'm very methodical what things I do, so I know how to do those things. But you know, and I was a skeptic up till 2.5 years ago, until I had my first investigation. I was coaxed into the Masonic Lodge in Grand Rapids, and things happened to me that night that changed my perspective. Now, the only thing that paranormal investigating and going into, people use the word dabble and all that fun stuff. I've read the Bible several times. I'm astute on it. And I also know that we refer to the word spirit. We're not going into witchcraft or other things like that. We're not deviant. However, this journey has put me closer to God, because now I'm not afraid of dying. There is spirit. They have told me that Christ exists. They can't tell me too much about it. These are the questions we're going. We're 90% spiritual, 90% science, and 10% spiritual on our quest.
What's the seance? Are we still doing seances?
I don't
absolutely.
That's
No.
That is very.
No, I've never done one.
No,
Yep,
we-
no, that's
we,
not anything.
That,
That's
to me,
very
that's a
forbidden from-
parlor game and just
Absolutely, that's
just
TV.
entertainment.
Halloweenish.
Entertainment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's Reiki?
Reiki is a form of energy work that originated in Japan, and I work on clients at the Crown Jewel Spa that a lot of them might have an illness like Parkinson's or MS or cancer, and a massage might be just too intrusive. So this is very gentle, hands-on. I don't want to say the word healing, but it can be very healing, but it's very, very relaxing for the client. Kind of takes them to
Sharing
a whole other
energy.
place. Yeah, it's just all energy work. So I've studied the human energy field for the last 8 years.
We are getting close to Halloween. Is paranormal activity stronger around this this holiday, this man-made holiday?
As far as what we gathered, no.
Same here.
Yeah, I agree. I think that people think it is, but it's all year. There's no exclusions.
We don't even get involved in Halloween and Fourth Dimension Paranormal, and we won't even investigate a week before or thereafter. It has nothing to do with it. Most of the groups out there are hobbyists, and they love to do that stuff. We consider ourselves a little bit different. This is a pure science, and something is there. And I can just tell you fundamentally, being in the science world myself, something is there, and it's attempting to communicate and share something with us. I believe it could be alternate universes that all exist at one time, but we're not going to go there tonight.
Yeah. Half
another
hour show, 26-minute show. Caller, what's your question on the line, please?
Yes, I'm interested in a Ouija board. Do those really show spirit activity? Ouija board?
Ouija boards. Can we still buy Ouija boards? Josh, start with you.
You can still buy Ouija boards. As far as using them, we just don't use them. I just don't feel that that's a great way to communicate, I guess.
Okay.
You know, I think if you want to use one, that's just another tool like a pendulum or tarot cards or something. But you have to be very, very careful. When you open that Ouija board, it's like your doorbell ringing and there's 50 strangers, and are you going to let them in? And so you're opening that up, and if you don't call in proper protection and shield yourself and protect yourself, every Tom, Dick, and Harry spirit can just come on in and start messing with you. So I'm not nuts about the Ouija board unless you know how to handle
That's
it
actually
properly.
a great explanation what you just said.
Absolutely.
Can one learn to be a paranormal expert? Say I had interest in what you're doing, but maybe I don't have the God-given gift. How does one learn if that's applicable?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody can learn, to be an expert. It just takes training, a lot of time.
But you should do so cautiously.
Yes,
Why
and
do you say that?
don't do it on your own. And find
Well, you
somebody.
say cautiously because?
As Patti talked about, you know, when you're out and you're investigating, you're opening doors. You need to protect yourself and take care of yourself, and you know, you just don't open your door and just let anybody come in. So it's important to be cautious and educated. You know, it's not something that we would encourage just, you know, your Tom, Dick, and Harry to go out and do, you know. As David said, we're not hobbyists either. We take it very seriously, and you just need to be cautious. There's been a lot of occasions where we've had to go into homes or businesses because people have dabbled, thinking it was a game with Ouija boards or trying to obtain EVPs, evidence, and you can get yourself into a little bit of trouble. So that's not anything that we encourage.
Great. Caller, you're on the line. What's your question, please? Hi.
Hi. Based on what you guys were saying, I was just wondering if ghosts actually are dangerous then, and if we should be cautious, or if it's something we should be really scared of.
Do we have a dangerous ghost out there, David?
I would say I've been touched, I've been grabbed, but nothing benevolent. For the most part, they're trying to get your attention. I don't think I will ever run into a dangerous entity. They are so rare, and anyone who says they get them on a routine basis, personally, I think is making them up. I think it's just a piece of energy, and they're just, in many cases, just as afraid of us as we are them.
But you say you've been touched and grabbed. Is this on an investigation?
Sure,
or?
right in the face. It's not a big thing. I mean, they don't know any other better way. They're in another dimension. They don't understand, and we don't understand them, and the only way they can sometimes, you've been grabbed and in the arm, and I've been touched in the face, and it's just, I'm doing the best I can to get your attention. And it's the only way they know how sometimes.
It feels like you've walked through a spider web.
Yep, exactly.
So when that happens to me, I'll yell out spider web so that somebody can take a picture or catch it or whatever. So
Has there been a picture taken? And
we've had some.
We've
had
had one
some video.
recently in the basement where I was literally pressed against a post, and we caught the EVP and the K2 went off. You brought the K2 with tonight, which is in the green room.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But anyway,
I'll
I knew
show
I
you
was
that
gonna
later.
happen.
Yeah.
But anyway, pushed away, and I had the team start taking pictures and things, and you can see the entity on me pushing me back.
But
I'm describing it.
what's interesting is he described it before we took the photo. He said there's something from my knees to my shoulders. We took the photo, go back and look, and there's this white blob of stuff from his knees to his shoulders, exactly where he felt it.
That's awesome.
And she whispered an EVP to me and saying, "Hi, I'm here." I still have it.
That's great.
We've got a couple minutes left. What stories, how can you top that?
I don't know if I can top that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But we did have experience in a house that we had done this past fall. Well, not this fall, last fall. And we had brought everybody in with us, our whole team, and we had a psychic there. And we went to a historic place that they have historic records on and everything.
Okay.
And we had done an investigation there, and we came up at some point in the night, I think it was towards the end of the night it was, where our psychic picked up on something, and he found out it was a 15-year-old boy. And he found out his whole story, how he's there, his history, all that. And we had meters, everything else to confirm he was talking to something, because everything was in coordination with it. And it lasted for about 10 minutes, and we went back to the historical park director the next day, and we kind of said, you know, do you have any of this stuff on record? And she said, yeah, how'd you guys know? And he ended up matching everything, even stuff they didn't have on record, with what they had in their books. And for me, I was like, wow, you know, I'm not psychic, and you know, to have someone on our team that is, it made me a believer on that. So.
And you do have, when you do investigations, it sounds like you do have teams. You have a psychic, you have somebody who's handling the equipment. And we're going to go to one more question before we're over. Hi, what's your question, please?
Hi. I find myself being plagued by unwanted negative energies. How do I block or prevent it from happening or getting rid of them?
I need 30 seconds in answering to that. Thanks.
My suggestion real quick to try, and I'm going to let her talk real quick, is tell them how you feel, talk to them like a person, say, hey, I'm not comfortable with you here with me, can you please leave me alone, you know, just respect me.
Absolutely, I would agree with that. It's about intent. You're putting the intention out there. This is my space, this is your space, stay out of mine. You know, if you're a religious or spiritual person, you could call on your beliefs as well for protection. But it's about your intention. You have the power to say, no, stay out of my space.
Do we all have a spirit or a ghost living with us?
I
in
think that
general?
it's much more common than people believe.
I think they're, dimensionally, they're moving all about us at all times. We can't pick them up. But, and they're transient in nature. But if they have an affinity towards something they need to do, they're going to do it. And, you know, our job is simply to try to find out what their quest is, as much as ours is to them.
Yes. Guys, thanks for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks for watching. Take care.